Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to more Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. It's the tournament, and it's the US versus France. France so far hasn't had a really good run. Their 16-inch guns are impressive to look at in those quad turrets, but, well, they haven't performed. Let's see if they can against the American Super Alaska class. The Americans are really deadly at range. Those guns, it's AP, it's HE, it doesn't matter, it just plunges right through the deck and does a lot of damage. Can the French sustain that damage? Can they take out the Americans? Let's find out in this tournament match. Here we go. United States Super Alaska is reporting for duty. 13.5-inch guns, fairly short barrels, and their reload is thus only 24 seconds. They can deliver death at 25 kilometers, or 30 with armor piercing. And if they fire armor piercing now at 20 kilometers, they have a 33.4-inch armor pen. So the French better brace, because there are some really deadly shells incoming. If they hit. That goes for the Americans too. Because one of those 16 inches from the French has hit the main deck on the Alaska. Only partially penning it. So the damage is not as bad as it could be. A full pen could have been very, very bad for these ships, because that 16-inch can do 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 points of damage fairly easily. Now, the French, how are they formed? Oh, they're turning to starboard. No weird formations today, just line ahead. And it is the 16-inchers. 12 of those barrels. Don't underestimate these things. They hit very hard. I have, however, not seen them hit very often. That's a bit weird. The French have great guns, i.e. good pen, good damage. The problem is landing those shots on targets. They have, however, proven they can do that to the Alaska. Can they do that consistently? That is the question. The answer seems to be yes. We got the Super Alaska and the Alaska. And the Montana, alright. Now, when it comes to secondary firepower, the French have 6-inch, and the Americans only have 5-inch. The 5-inch really only come into play, I'd say, at about 8.5 kilometers. AP range really isn't that interesting. Because the chance that they'll do damage with an armor-piercing shell of 5-inch is really, really low. When you're looking at the HE, though, well, many ships have been burned down in this tournament. And it's probably going to keep happening. So it's entirely likely that the secondaries from the Americans are going to come in handy. They are, however, vastly outranged by the secondaries from the French. Those 6-inchers have a range of almost 17 kilometers. So the French, I'd say, have the firepower advantage, at least numerically. They might have more guns. But rate of fire, I think between the 6-inchers and the 16s, really similar. Oh boy! Reconsider on that, because there goes one of the turrets. This is most likely Le Poisson Magnifique. Because the name ship always gets targeted first. And that's one dead turret. This is not going to mean good things for the amount of ammunition that this warship still carries. Because if you have a flash fire, I believe you lose about half of your ammo pretty much instantly. Now the flash fire does seem to have been contained to the A turret. The B turret's not taking flash fires. And the other ships are still reloading their guns. They might have been a bit shaken, not stirred, but otherwise they are definitely eager to engage again. Unless they're hit with the gun bug. This one isn't. Oh boy. The Americans are going to tear this French ship limb from limb. Hold on, who are you trying to target? I think it's trying to target Super Alaska, but because it's turning to port and the guns are turning to starboard and they're quad turrets, the guns cannot keep up with the rotation of the ship. Might not actually be the gun bug this time. Might be the fact that they just don't have the turret rotation. Yeah. This thing is breaking formation and trying to fall in behind the healthy ones. Not interested in receiving more fire. And thanks to her angle, she ricochets a lot of shells there. That's pretty bad news for the Americans, but in essence, they've already killed off 1/3 of the firepower of the French fleet. So that's a big win for them. Range is decreased to about 17 kilometers. And I suspect the Americans are going to keep their pressure on this ship for a while longer. Yeah, they haven't switched yet. Why is the Alaska not firing? Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's bad news for this ship, because now she... Well, actually, she's angled in. She's bow-ish in. Ricochet, ricochet. Can she handle a deck pen? If she gets hit, blocked. So that was a whole volley from the Americans that didn't go anywhere. Well, I mean, they hit, sure. But the damage was not there at all. There we go, that's an overpen. The Americans sometimes seem to have overpen issues. Because those guns... What are we looking at? About 17 kilometers. Yeah, 29 inches of armor. It's too good for some parts, too bad for others. But at least they're consistent. They keep hitting. And that's not something that Le Poisson Magnifique can use. That was a lot of consistent hits, and she no longer has an angle issue. Ooh. But Super Alaska got hammered. That was a lot of damage. 1900. Yeah, just very accurate volleys from the French now. The ship has taken a lot of flooding. Is still flooding. Her accuracy right now is still really good. If she can keep this up, she might be able to make it work. And at least I'll be able to trade her against this, I think, Poisson Magnifique. Which again takes a bunch of parcels, but also some full pens. The French really need to rely on their ricochet angle, and if they don't, they get eaten. They're flooding. I'm wondering if structural integrity might fail first, though. Because that seems to be the weakest point of the ship right now. Destroyed main gun. Well, I think we're way past that. Oh! There goes your structural integrity. Finally! An actual proper killing of a ship, as opposed to launching a whole bunch of high explosive at it and hoping for the best. And the Americans are sticking with with armor piercing. They have done 26,000 points of damage so far. The French only 9,100, 9,200 now. I do, however, fear that the Super Alaska is not going to be partaking in this battle for much longer. She seems to be struggling to keep the gun upright. Oh, she's still fighting. She's lost only 15% of her crew, which, considering her issues, is really remarkable. Spacious quarters. So, she has crew to spare, as bad as that sounds. She can handle it for a while. But, oh boy, torpedoes. And that hit the Montana! Was Montana not prepared for torps? Hydro 3, no she was not. That is 4 compartments filling up. Anti-torp 3 apparently mitigated the damage to some extent, but not enough. Now the French might have landed a lucky torp there, but considering the amount of damage they've already taken on their second ship, I don't think it's going to help them. Oh, Montana. No, that's not the torp. This does mean that the Americans temporarily are somewhat disabled. They will not be able to fire. Especially A and B turret. I'm going to have to swing all the way around. And as the AI tends to swing all ships around in unison, that means everybody has this problem. And then they're going to have to figure out what their place in the world is. Where in the formation they should be going. So they're probably going to turn over again. Oh, but that did save them. There was another torp there. Montana has lost a little over 30% of her buoyancy and is now holding. That was the issue with one torp. The French have their own issues with flooding. Look at that. And the Americans just keep adding more and more issues for the French to handle. 94% ID. Soleil. The Sun. The Sun is trying to take down Super Alaska. And with her level of firepower and their level of protection, I think they'll get away with it. And this means that the second ship is also targeting that. Dunkirk. Both have launched their starboard side torpedoes. And are now reloading. Ooh, flooding on the Super Alaska. Montana and Alaska are still dancing around. And there's an HE volley. On the Soleil. That's 4 fires. And that's just the first salvo. There's 2 more fires. Can they eliminate the crew on this ship? Yeah, possibly. 7% of the crew has been killed. That was a few salvos. Super Alaska. Ooh, everything missed. Could have been the end of her. She's hanging on by a thread. But I think it's not enough. She's gone. Super Alaska out of the fight. 2 for 2. Well, 2 for 1 actually. As the Americans go, well, you're cold Soleil, might as well put you on fire then. And burn down the Soleil. Leaving the badly damaged Dunkirk to make a final stand. But then again, final stands is what Dunkirk is famous for. Unfortunately though, she's not very famous for burning. And exactly that is what the Americans are doing. Holy shit. These volleys, it's like they're hitting every... Oh, it's like they're hitting every single shell. Some damage on the... Yeah, no. That was quick. That was really quick. So, 1 kill for the French, but 3 kills for the Americans, giving them the points. Let's see if I can do better, because otherwise this is going to be a really short video. I'm going to take control of the French ships. I'm going to see if I can deal some more damage against the Americans. So, these guys are going to have control of the United States. I'll take control over the French. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. In case your ship didn't get picked in the tournament and you still want to fight, that is 1 battle, you won't be taking full part in the tournament, you can. All you need to do is hit the link down below in the Patreon page. And on there, pick the tournament special is what I call that, tournament special. And use that to still sort of partake in the tournament. You're going to get 1 video devoted to your ship. And you're going to be picking a opponent yourself, or I'll pick one at random for you. That's going to be the battle, that's going to be the fight, and you're going to get your ship in the limelight that it deserves. I cannot feature all 160 ships, but I have gotten quite a few requests from people saying, hey, I still want to get my ship featured. If I do so, or if I make a donation, can I get the ship featured? And I said, sure. So that's what the Patreon page is for. Now, I'm going to have my ship sail in bow in, because with the bow in, I have an 8.5-inch forebelt. I have an, well, something that resembles a main deck. And I hope to be able to deal some damage. The formation isn't spectacular right now. So let's change that to line ahead. I'm going to sail at some angle. Because my bow and main belt aren't that good. And the Americans just have the rate of fire. The last thing I need to do is close the distance. Because then the American salvos start hitting every single time. So what I need to do is make sure that I deal as much damage from range as possible. And if at all possible, throw torpedoes into the mix. Because that's something that the Americans don't seem to be dealing with too well. Unfortunately, they're 15 clicks out. I should be able to launch a torpedo at them right about now. Torpedoes in the lead ship, please. Angle away a little bit. Oh, there we go. Who's leading this party? Triomphant. Well, not as of right now, we're not. We're not that triumphant. Good lord, they're taking the the Poisson apart so fast. Jesus, look at the damage. The battle's been raging for less than 7 minutes and the ship's almost gone. Having a regular trained crew also isn't exactly helpful. Come on. She won't survive that. Not for much longer, she won't. Oh boy. She ricocheted some of that. I think, effectively, the ship's out of the fight. She can't hold that. And even if she can, it's going to take her a while to swing her turrets around. Triomphant, anytime now. Ship won't fire. St. Charles, same problem. Ship won't fire. Targeting something else then. But then they only sent like one salvo to gauge the distance. It's not what I need them to do. The French crews really are a problem. They're only regular trained crews, so their accuracy, reload, aim time, it's definitely far worse than the Americans. And I think it's starting to show. Poisson Magnifique flooding. They're just not shooting. They're just... I can right click the ship all I want. And if I left click and the ship reacquires, goes to a different target, that means all the... yeah, bye-bye. All the potential for range finding that I've built up is gone. And I have to start all over again. Plus, I'm only firing a third of the potential shells that I can. Jesus. 8,000 damage in 2 salvos? What the hell? Seriously, the guns just won't fucking work. This is ridiculous. Finally! More than one salvo, would you look at that? And instantly we start dealing damage. Oh, and now we start throwing torps out as well. Better late than never. But come on. Some damage to the main tower, nothing spectacular there. Visually, I like the look of the French ship, but practically, it has not done very well at all. Look at that damage. 3,200 by my ships. 38,000 by the Americans. Ah, finally. See, once these 16 start working as intended, they actually respond with a bunch of damage. It wasn't even a torpedo that hit her, but it could have been. Jesus, Triomphant just got absolutely... Holy shit. She got so badly destroyed. I'm gonna have to pick the engagement range. I can go a little faster for now. Let's angle away. See if we can get some damage in on this ship. Force them to slow down, because I doubt the Independence is still doing top speed. 25 knots. So much for my torpedo launcher. Yeah, just 30% accuracy bonus. Super Alaskas can get really quite far if they keep up this level of performance. And their accuracy, 60%. Plus, if they hit you, they're very likely to deal a massive amount of damage. Yeah, this is done. Let's at least go down fighting. Although, by turning, my guns won't fire. Oh, there we go. Torpedoes away. It's the last torps I had aboard. This is such a disaster. Look at this ship who's getting murdered. 7.1k done. Oh, 8.1k done by the Americans. 64k by the Americans. Bloody hell, the French are awful. They were better under AI control. But then again, they didn't have the gun bug under AI control. Oh, man. Boom. 2% buoyancy. 1. And she's done. Yikes. And I'm not even sure yikes really begins to describe it. That was just really painful. Anyway, points to the Americans. So with that, the Americans claim another point. They're going to get the point, much to the chagrin of the French. The French really not doing that well. They are currently registered at 3 losses. The US doing a lot better. 2 wins, 1 loss. That loss was, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, against the UK. Does make it a bit harder for the US to make it to the finals, because they will not be able to claim this point, but they might still be able to claim the point against Italy. Next up in the tournament is going to be the Spanish versus the Austro-Hungarians. This is an interesting match because they are both, well, they're both somewhat fire spammy. The Austro-Hungarians much more so than Spanish. The Spanish are a bit more well-rounded, and those ships have slightly bigger guns. It's going to be interesting to see, especially since both of these have relatively short-range torpedoes. So if these guys go at each other with torps, anything can happen. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, hope you guys enjoyed this battle, and I hope to see you soon for the next one in round 4, Spain versus Austria-Hungary. See you there.